the hour have reached 6 o'clock. I'll call the Administration and Public Works Committee of the Evanston City Council to order. We have a quorum. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 25th?
Motion move.
A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. I'm just going to take things out a little bit out of order. I'll entertain a motion from Alderman Braithwaite.
We should do the bills first.
What's that? You want to do the bills list first?
Either way. So
Okay,
I'll
do the bills.
entertain a motion for that.
Or public
Yeah, well,
public comments followed by the
for
bills.
reference to the public, I just want to have, Alderman Braithwaite was going to make a motion. We're actually going to hold items A6, A7, and A8. These are all related to advanced disposal in that matter. So you're welcome to speak on it tonight. Just understand that this will not be heard until February 22nd. So with that said, if anyone would like to yield their time, I think both the public and the council would appreciate it. So that said, let's just start with public speakers then.
Do you have a list? Do you have a list?
I have a list. Is Kevin Glynn here, followed by Laura Matisic, and then Tanya Noble? Kevin Glynn? Okay.
I'll be very brief. My name is Kevin Glynn. I live at 2119 Sherman. I'm currently the chair of the city's Environment Board, speaking in against the agreement that you have for advanced disposal.
Can you speak into the mic, please, sir?
Beg your
Thank you.
pardon. Better?
Yeah.
I call your attention to 3 points within the proposed agreement. The first is the ability for the city to levy future taxes. While it specifically doesn't eliminate the ability to do so, it does force the city to pay back over $1 million in the current fees that are held in escrow. That's effectively a golden handcuffs, which I think you would find very difficult to overcome. The second issue I would call your attention to is the lack of transparency in the flow of waste that goes through that station. There's no reason for us to know the customers' names that are producing the waste, but we have no idea what's going in and out of that station at all. And this agreement doesn't compel any kind of knowledge and open sharing. The third is the host agreement as proposed is pretty flawed. It has not been negotiated on behalf of the community, nor with community involvement. In other words, there's no meaningful involvement from our community. And I think that is, in and of itself, a reason to send the agreement back to the city attorney for renegotiation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Matisic. And I'd just like to remind everyone I'll be holding everyone to 3 minutes in comment.
I will be quick as well. My name's Laura Matisic. I live at 1657 Church Street. So Church Street Village townhouse is right behind Advanced Disposal. I'm not going to say much more than what Keith said because I agree 100% with everything that he said. The agreement would not do a good service to the residents of Evanston, and I think the priority needs to be put on the residents that live here. And signing this agreement is not in their best interest, so don't do it. That's what I have to say about that. And then I wanted to ask a question about the proposed neighborhood integrity ordinance. I agree with everything that's in there. I just wanted clarification on possession of quote-unquote dangerous dogs and who determines who owns a dangerous dog. Is that breed specific? Is that, who is going to dictate what a dangerous dog is? Because just like any person, any dog can be dangerous. I just want to make sure we're not going down that slippery slope of breed specific legislation because it doesn't work. And it's unethical.
And just so you know, the policy of during public comment is not to actually respond. We don't want to get into a question and answer session here. But if staff could actually speak with her about that question, I'd appreciate that.
Perfect.
Right. 22nd as well. But if just we don't want to get into back and forth on that. So
sure,
okay.
But just need clarification on that.
Sure. So
Thank
staff
you.
could speak with her. I'd appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Tanya Noble, followed by Megan, I think it's Boxer, Allison Tires, and Hannah Krebs.
My name is Tanya Noble. I live at 596 Sheridan Square in Evanston. In 1984, a decision was made to grant an EPA permit to operate a waste facility at 1711 Church. There are no records of any meaningful community engagement in this process and no clear understanding of the decision to issue the permit in perpetuity, forever, without any recourse of ever changing this decision. By today's EPA regulations, such a facility could not exist at this location, yet it does. Less than a mile from our downtown, a block from our high school where 3,000 students are daily, and site of the proposed youth community center estimated to serve 1,500 youth and families annually at Church and Dodge. Less than 50 feet from a city park where nearly 60,000 children play each year, not to mention the hundreds of homes that coexist with the facility at their back doors. Today, we have no more information about the environmental impact of this operation on our community than we had 30 years ago. The EPA regulates the siting of transfer stations for a reason. There is credible scientific evidence that supports the negative impact such a facility can have on the environment. Yet thousands of people in our community live and play nearby, and we have no clear understanding of the risks. The host community agreement was prepared and presented without any meaningful engagement by the council or the citizens it affects. With a substandard 75-cent fee that can never be increased and stipulations that the city has no legal recourse now or in the future against the waste transfer station. It simply makes no sense. I implore you not to sell out the future health and well-being of our community to a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I ask that the City of Evanston refuse to enter into an agreement that has no real value for our future environmental sustainability. The tragic crisis in Flint, Michigan should resonate loudly the importance of a scientific-based evaluation of the waste transfer station's impact on our community. This is necessary to preserve and protect our environment for future generations so that 30 years from now, citizens won't be asking, how did this happen? There's a difference between real partnerships and simply asking people to rubber stamp decisions that have already been made. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan Boxer, followed by Allison Tires.
Hi, Megan Baxa. I live at 1629 Church Street. As an immediate neighbor of the waste transfer station, I would just like to say that the traffic that this facility generates impacts the way that the students who pass by my house and then pass by the driveway to the waste transfer station daily in a negative way. The trucks that sit and idle on Church Street for any number of minutes and daily is not allowed by the city. I don't think that the settlement that you are thinking of entering into would solve any of these problems, even if the driveway is widened and it appears to alleviate the congestion. I don't think it will. It's never going to make the facility any bigger and able to handle any more traffic. And I worry that if we have this cap on how much per load we're charging, it's going, the company, Advanced Disposal, will direct more of their trucks to our facility or to this facility and just increase the traffic. I really ask that you not make this agreement and that we look for a resolution that will look towards the future of Evanston. Thank you very much.
My apologies for misreading your last name. Allison Tires and Hannah Krebs.
Hello, good evening. I'm Allison Tires. I live at 1679 Church Street, also in Church Street Village. I want to second what everyone has said and also speak in opposition to the proposed settlement. And just to remind everyone, what it's like to live close to the facility on a daily basis. We deal with noise, we deal with odors, we deal with large trucks. Our children are trying to get to school and they have to sometimes cross in front of the waste transfer station, which is not safe. EPA best practices would put a facility like this much farther from any kind of residential area. We understand that they are grandfathered in, but this settlement, as I see it, would make things significantly worse on two counts. So one is the locked-in tonnage fee. The city being unable to raise that fee past 75 cents in perpetuity seems like it would be contrary to the interests of the city and to the residents. And also the clause that would immunize Advanced Disposal from any further legal liability. This in particular is a concern. I don't fully understand if it extends to potential public health hazards. So we are unaware, we have not been able to find the resources to do testing of groundwater and of soil underneath the facility. These types of things might uncover additional problems, and this settlement, from what I have read, sounds like it would immunize them from liability for those sorts of that sort of environmental damage. And finally, I want to just reiterate that the community involvement really needs to be, part of any kind of agreement going forward. And so I would encourage the committee and the council to inform all of us better about what is going into the rationale and the reasoning for having a settlement like this. Thank you.
Hannah Krebs, followed by Eric Sorensen.
Hello, my name is Hannah Krebs. I also live in Church Street Village at 1677 Church Street. I second everything everyone's been saying. I urge you to not sign this agreement and to consider the longevity of the children who will inherit this area. I'm going to speak a personal note of what I've had to encounter with my own children living so close to the transfer station. I've had to battle with the school district to find a safe place for my children to get on and off the bus. I have watched a number of close accidents. I only imagine widening this opening area is going to further encourage these extremely heavy vehicles to come in and out of there quickly. I have witnessed many accidents, far more than I can count, and so many close calls with the children that we entrust to get safely to school. I'm extra concerned for the environmental causes as it affects my daily living with my children. There are days where we cannot access Mason Park because the smell is so bad, you don't want to go. There are times where I want to open up my windows and provide fresh air to my family, and I cannot. Sometimes it's because I'm trapping the flies that are consuming our neighborhood from the foul odors from advanced disposal. Again, I second every comment that was made about continuing to support our community and building a safe community for our children. And by signing this bill, I think you would negate that and not support the growth of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Sorensen, followed by Shannon Seiberling.
Yes, I'm Eric Sorensen. I live at Church Street Village also at 1689. For the sake of time, I'll just say that I second everything said by my neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Shannon Seiberling, followed by Janet Alexander Davis.
I'm Shannon Seiberling, 1632 Ashland. I understand that part of the agreement is trees and shrubs in front of the entrance. Really? Nobody cares about them. They'd be scruffy. It wouldn't matter what really happens. I live farther away than Church Street's Village. I live over on Ashland, and many times in the summer, I have to go inside. I cannot be outside because of the smell of garbage. Also, just the other night, late at night, there was an acrid smell of something burning seeping through the windows. Even the windows were closed. I called the city to ask them about it. They suggested I call the police department non-emergency number, and they couldn't really tell what was happening unless it was happening at the moment that they investigated it. But I just want to point out, agreeing with everybody else here, we don't know what garbage is going in there, we don't know what kind of waste it is, and especially we don't know how it may affect health-wise the residents in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet Alexander Davis, followed by Jerry Garl.
I'm Janet Alexander Davis. I live at 1726 Leland, Evanston. I've been a Fifth Ward resident. I'm going to be 73 in May, and I've been there ever since I was 4 years old. So I just want to say that I also agree with everybody else that spoke before. I won't take your time with that. I have a cold I've been trying to get over, and I want to use it maybe as an analogy a little bit and maybe sensitize you to a little bit about what we go through. I can pass by the transfer station since it's been a transfer station. By the way, when it was active service, it was a community business. It was people that knew the people in the community and hired many, many, many people, nothing like it is now. And to me, it seems like the use has changed over the years as to what it really is taking in. And as far as I know, nothing has ever been done to try to get them to tell us what they're bringing in there every day. And if you lived over there, how would you feel? With this cold that I have no taste buds, and it's been hard to breathe. And one of my neighbors said to me, it was interesting, that they really never had smelled it. That she knew that there were people in the community that have complained for many, many years, but that she didn't smell it. And I wonder if it's like me not being able to smell this cold I have. It doesn't mean I don't have a cold. It just means it's so bad I can't smell it. And I wonder if all of these years of us smelling this, some of us just can't smell it anymore. Doesn't mean it's not harming us and our children. Thank you. Please don't sign this.
Thank you. Please feel better. Finally, Jerry Garl.
Hi, I'm Jerry Garl, and I live at 1607 Dobson Street. I'm an 8th Ward resident, and I'm here tonight because I'm also a member of the Environmental Justice Subcommittee of the Environment Board. The subcommittee was taken by surprise, as we all were, that a settlement agreement had been prepared on the waste transfer station. And we have been working as a subcommittee for well over a year to develop a resolution for adoption by City Council that would help us ensure that no community or group within Evanston bears a disproportionate burden of environmental hazards and risks, and that all environmental assets are fairly distributed across the community. The waste transfer station is the City of Evanston's primary environmental justice issue. In addition, and of most immediate importance, is for all residents that are affected by city decisions that have an impact to their quality of life, or the potential to impact their quality of life, and the environment in their neighborhood, that they should have an opportunity for meaningful involvement and influence in those decisions. So, as most of you are aware, national and local groups exist across the country to fight for environmental justice and raise awareness about the circumstances and quality of life disparities that poor communities, and especially communities of color, experience. Evanston is not exempt from those concerns, but we're certainly working to get better. Neighborhoods are no longer literally redlined as undesirable for FHA loans, but it doesn't take a long time to visit Evanston neighborhoods where the upkeep and amenities are substandard and residents are exposed to noxious odors, noise, and unquantified environmental risks. There was a mention in the host agreement, the host agreement that the waste transfer station agreement referred to, that many communities have host agreements with their waste transfer station owner and operator. That may be true, but there are provisions to host agreements that can include much greater oversight and awareness and transparency about what goes in, what kinds of exposures are being experienced by the neighbors, and exactly what we're dealing with. For this particular facility, we need to commit to take a very hard look as to whether this operation is needed by the City of Evanston for garbage disposal, whether its existence is any benefit to us as a community, whether the location is consistent with the city's plan to improve the west side, and to utilize every mechanism and every authority the city has at its disposal to make this right for the communities, the neighbors who live there, the children who attend the schools and adjacent parks, and for the city as a whole. So I strongly recommend that you not sign the agreement and look at this as an opportunity for planning the eventual phase out and closure of the waste transfer facility to allow for development that meets siting and zoning requirements, that benefits the neighborhood and raises property values, and also represents the values of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. The chair will actually entertain a motion regarding items A6, A7, and A8.
Thank you, Alderman Miller. I'd like to move that we hold item A6, A7, and A8.
Second.
Okay, that being said, or the motion is made and seconded, so it'll be held until the February 22nd, 2016 meeting. Alderman Braithwaite.
Thank you. Just to quickly respond to the folks who took the time to show up, thank you very much. Your voices have been heard tonight. I just want to make that clear. And in addition to your presence here this evening, myself, Alderman Holmes, we are pretty much copied on the same correspondence. We've also received emails from other residents at Church Street Village and across town that wanted to weigh in on this issue. So I had an opportunity to address some of the residents earlier, just so everyone's clear. Tonight was about listening. This item will be discussed in executive session, and the next time to discuss it publicly will be February 22nd, unless there are any changes, you'll be notified. So for those of you that have beautiful kids in the crowd, I just want to say thank you again, and then let you know that there's nothing else that's going to be discussed on this item, so you're more than welcome to go home and take your family with you if you'd like. Thank you. I have several of my own at home. Thank you very much.
Alderman Rainey, I'll entertain a motion concerning items A1, or concerning item A1.
Do you want me to do them all? A2?
Sure, if you want to do A1 and A2.
And also,
Your mic, Alderman Rainey.
also, Mr. Chair, I've resolved the issue of no answers on certain ones, so we'll just go through this. Item A1, City of Evanston payroll through January 24, 2016, $3,100,467.
Can I ask, please, that if you're leaving, to please do so quietly so we can finish our business? Thank you. Alderman Rainey.
One more time. $3,100,467.46. The city bills from 2015 to be paid as of February 2016, $1,814,935.53. The bills, the money spent this year, February 9, 2016, $2,139,640.75. Credit card activity for the period ending December 31, $192,972.45. I move recommendation of the council.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Holmes.
A3.1, approval of the funding year 2016 fuel purchase from Mansfield Oil Company, not to exceed the amount of $780,000. Move approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite, item A32.
Yes, Chair. Staff recommends the city, approval of the single source purchase of Ford parts and vehicle services for Golf Mill. Staff's recommending the city manager to execute the agreement for a single source purchase parts service in the amount of $75,500.
Is there a second?
No, I was just going to make a note that this is through fiscal year 2016 and also March, all the way through March of 2017.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Rainey.
Are we on 3-2?
Three,
No, you're
three.
right. Pardon me?
On top of the next page.
Okay. All right. This is approval of the renewal of the annual Harley-Davidson lease agreement with City Limits Harley-Davidson for the Evanston Police Department in the amount of $33,075. This is the second lease year renewal. This for 7 motorcycles.
Motion being made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Holmes.
A3.4, approval of the renewal of the contract with the Heavy Communications for the emergency lighting and sirens, bid 13.15, in the amount of $97,185.
Second.
Maybe I should say this is the third and final renewal.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to move item 3.5, approval of the contract with CTL Group for the Church Street and Maple Avenue garage repair project.
Is there a second?
In the amount of?
That's going to be the amount of $111 and $100.
Second.
Real quick, I just want to say, Mr. Voss, I'm very happy to see this. I'm happy to see that we're doing a capital maintenance plan. We're spending our funds to, maintain our assets, our physical assets. This is good stuff. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
In the opinion of the, all those opposed, nay. And if the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Rainey, A36.
Yes. Asked approval to recommend to the council contract with Road Safe Traffic Systems for the street sweeping and snow signage and installation in the amount of $84,800. And the
Second.
Okay. Second.
I'd just like to say 2 words. This is really going to be very helpful for our community because these signs are going to be very explicit. The signs that are up now that indicate that there's no parking on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for street sweeping. No one knows what Tuesday and Thursday or Wednesday that is, and this is going to be very specific. It's going to say either the first Monday or the third Wednesday, and I notice in my neighborhood, even every 3 weeks, on Tuesdays, everybody's on Wednesdays, and, no street sweeper comes. So this will be extremely helpful, and I think people will really like it.
Further discussion?
Just something for our staff, and I saw Mr. Voss, is he still around?
He just
So one of the
stepped
questions
out.
that I've had, Alderman, one of the issues that come up, we don't have to get into it now, is that, so after the street cleaning, I have some blocks in my ward that parking is very competitive. And so residents that either work at home, live at home, have a tendency to move their cars back to the side that's been cleaned, and unfortunately they get a ticket. And I don't know if anyone else has dealt with that before, but it's something that happens quite a bit. So I don't know if that's at a later date something that we can discuss, but I would like to.
The reason why that is, the reason why we don't want people to park there.
With leave of the committee?
Second time sometimes.
After the sweeper goes by.
Mr.
Because
Mayworm?
some- Well, let me just.
Sure.
I mean,
Enlighten me.
from
Enlighten us.
Being on the street for, 50 years.
Yeah.
Some people don't move their car by 9 o'clock sometimes, and
Right.
then they run out at, 9:30 after the sweeper goes by, and the sweeper actually will come back and clean up the whole block. So
Okay.
it's just, if they're home all day, see, I think that's not a good excuse. If they're home all day working, let them wait till 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever the sign says, to come out and move the car later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr.
Unless,
Mayworm,
of
any
course,
comments?
Mr. Mayworm's going to change all the rules.
Good evening, Jim Mayworm, Bureau Chief of Infrastructure Maintenance. The signage project is something I'm working on. In an effort to address some of those concerns, Alderman Braithwaite, we've gone ahead and restricted a lot of our parking areas to 4-hour windows. So these signs will read from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we're structuring our operations to limit it to 4 hours to allow people to repark on their streets.
That's great.
Operation's done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. I think we're in Alderman Holmes, item A37.
A3.7, approval of the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County, Swank, disposal fee for 2016, not to exceed the amount of $784,000 for the operation and maintenance transfer fees. Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite, item A38.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item A38, approval of the estimated annual user charge for 2016 with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District for the Greater Chicago for disposal of sludge generated as part of the water treatment process. And the disposal of sludge generated as part of the water treatment process, it's the amount of $122,621.59.
Second.
Yeah.
Alderman Rainey, sorry.
Mr. Chair, could we get an explanation of the numbers that we have here? I didn't understand, and I'm looking for the right. Anybody have this on their computer right now? The page? That page?
It's page 85, 85, 88, yes.
Okay. Here. Anyway, the payments made over the last 3 years, it's a chart showing that, and it shows some remaining to be paid that are minuses, and it explains that some we overpaid, and when did we get refunded? It wasn't clear.
Mr. Stoneback?
Good evening, Dave Stoneback, Public Works Agency Director. Yes, these fees are always set up as an estimated cost based on disposal of the prior year, and it does swing widely. In 2011, we actually had to make payments totaling $489,000. That year, the lake was very turbid and turned over a lot. In the past 2 years, we've had less muddy water, clear water, so we should be getting a credit back. And they try to do their best at gauging how much we will send their way, but it's all based on how cloudy the lake water is.
Right. So I do have the page. So in 2015, our total payments were $394,126.00.
Correct.
Is this we overpaid? 261?
It
We
did,
overpaid.
yes.
Did we get it back yet?
We have not yet. That will come out in another 2 months, and then we'll get the money back.
Okay. And in 2014, we overpaid $228,000?
That is correct, and we got that money back.
This is from the water fund, right?
It's actually from, yes, from the water fund.
Water and sewer fund.
It is the water fund, though.
So, I mean, does this affect our cash flow at all? These are large amounts.
The fund actually tries to maintain a $3.5 million fund balance for this and other large.
Do we get any interest on this money?
No, we do not.
I mean,
And we're not charged any interest when we have to pay them back either.
Yeah, but what do we have? We had to pay back.
2011, we had to pay back.
69,000, but I do see almost $500,000 in 2011. All right.
Correct.
But that was 4 or 5 years ago. I just think these numbers are so off. But you're saying it's the weather that determines.
That's correct. And it's the district that determines how much we have to pay them. They send us an invoice based on.
I mean, do we ever challenge it?
We don't challenge it because we know that we can be under and we can be over. And I mean, there are 2 years there where we're, within $70,000, which is still a lot of money. But when you're paying that amount, I mean, you can see how much we've paid has dropped from 412 to 413 to 121 to 132. They are trying to make adjustments that are appropriate, but it still is. It's an average over many years, and just fortunately the last 2 years have been low.
Well, you've not been wrong. They've been wrong, right? mean,
I said they were low.
They were low.
Low, yeah. We have not had a lot of debris in the lake water that we've been treating. That's good, yes.
All right, thank you. I just was having a hard time with this chart. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Rainey?
Okay, we're on
A39.
Approval of the renewal of the service provider agreement with Presence Behavioral Health in the amount of $73,333.33. This is an agreement that goes from the 1st to the December 31st, 2016.
Second.
Real quick, Mr. Kaniva, if you could relay a request, could you have Ivanda, I'm actually interested in what types, if they have specific numbers of the calls, what they're for specifically, and if we could have that at the Human Services Committee, just a briefing on kind of what the calls have been. It was a good overview in the package, just break it down in that sense. Any other further discussion?
It has been a huge relief to our 911 and other services.
Okay.
Nope.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite? A4?
I don't get a turn?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Alderman Holmes.
Okay, not a problem. A4, Resolution 13-R-16, authorizing the city manager to enter into a new tenant lease agreement for studio space at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center. To enter the 2 new 10-month tenant leases agreement with Paul Vorman and Christy Clerge for studio space at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center. Move approval.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Now, Alderman Braithwaite?
Yeah, sure. Madam Chair, I'd like to move item A5, ordinance 12-0-16, authorizing the city to borrow funds from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for the public water supply loan. I'll go ahead and read this. Staff is recommending the adoption of the ordinance authorizing the city to borrow the funds from the IEPA public water supply loan program for the construction of the water treatment plant reliability improvements. And so the ordinance authorizes the city to borrow up to $2,245,000 for the total funding of the project, which is basically $2.5 million budgeted in our 2016 CIP budget.
Is there a second? Okay.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. And a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
When are we going to start AP&W or
No.
P&D?
Say 7 o'clock. It's supposed to start
Right
now, but let's say 6:55.